Hi, I'm Tony from RealMenEatGreen.com, and today we're making the Smokin' Gun chili with jalapeno cornbread. All right, so the Smokin' Gun chili, you got your pretty basic chili ingredients. You got your black beans. I'm gonna put in some mixed beans here, my favorite can. I got our tomatoes, tomato paste, some spices. I got some chili, some cumin, garlic, a nice green jalapeno. And instead of meat, I'm gonna be using my favorite product, veggie ground round. All right, so I got my onion. We need half an onion for this recipe. Start killing it. We need half an onion, a nice dice. All right, while we're doing that, let's heat up a tablespoon of oil. Over each medium-high heat. So while that's heating up, we can get our carrots chopped up and give them a good rinse. You can put as many carrots as you want. I usually put about 2, but if you're making a small batch, 1 works really well too. Awesome. So my oil is probably heated up already. Let's get this in here. So we'll let the onions get nice and sweated down a little bit. All right, so now we'll add in our cumin powder. I have a nice bag of cumin. Got some nice organic oregano. So for this recipe, you probably need about maybe, I'd say, 2 teaspoons. Dump that in there. So add it to your onions while it's going. And 1 nice teaspoon tablespoon rather of oregano. Stir. All right, so while that's going, we'll chop up some more vegetables. We got a nice red pepper here. That rinse. Take out the core. Like mine in a nice big dice. All right, so I got my carrots, my red pepper, and I'm going to add in maybe just 2 stalks of celery here today. Give these a rinse. All right, so that's going. Right, so I've got my carrots, my red peppers, and my celery all chopped up and ready to go. And I'm going to add them to my onion, cumin, oregano mix in here. It's gotten nice and soft. So let's add these on. Now we need 2 cloves of garlic too, but I usually add them in last so that these guys get nice and warmed up before you add the garlic. Got 1 bulb of garlic here. I just need 2 cloves. So if you're not a real big fan of garlic, you can always mince it down small, and then you can take the blade of your knife and you can squish it down. You can mash it into a paste, and that eliminates the possibility that you'll ever bite into a big chunk. But I kind of like mine like bits, so I'll leave it like that. All right, that's a nice mince. I'm going to add that to my vegetables here. Starting to smell pretty good. So while that's going, I'll open up my package of ground round, and ground round is just pretty much like a textured meat simulation product that's still pretty good. It adds the chewiness of meat, but it's vegetarian, made of ground and wheat soy and wheat proteins. And this one comes flavored. I couldn't find the original, but Mexican veggie ground round goes well with chili. And if you have an allergy to soy, you can totally just omit the ground round and just add extra beans. It still tastes really good. So we'll add our ground rounds to the vegetables. They just got warm here. All right, so stir that in. All right, so that's well well mixed up, I'm just gonna let it sit for about 5 minutes. Put the lid on. Starting to smell pretty good. All right, so I've got my crushed tomatoes. You can also use canned whole tomatoes if you like, but this is what I got today. And I'm gonna add in my chili powder and my salt. So let's add that into our mix. We've given them 5 minutes to sit and get friendly in there. So we'll add that in there. And I'm gonna add about 2 tablespoons or so of chili powder. So right now we're just gonna let all the flavors kind of mingle together. Then we're gonna add some water to thin it down. And the beans, once this is well mixed into the chili. That's mixed up, and add about a teaspoon of salt. Just add a little bit. You can always add more later in the end, because you can't take salt out. All right, so we've let the chili simmer for about 5 minutes. I'm gonna add in our beans. So if you are worried about salt in your diet, always give your beans a good rinse. Beans are in a can because they kind of sit in liquid and salt. And by rinsing it out, at least you can control how much you put in your chili. So I'm just gonna dump it through a colander here. Give my beans a rinse. And I've got a can of mixed beans here, so I've got black beans, black-eyed peas, kidney beans, garbanzo beans. Nice beanie concoction. I'll add that to the chili. All right, and that's it. The last thing we just need to add is our heat, depending on how hot we want it. You can add either some nice green chilies in a can. You can get those at any grocery store that you probably close to the Mexican food aisle. But today I'm gonna add half a jalapeno and some of my favorite sriracha hot sauce. So we're gonna go for a medium hot today. If you're really crazy and you want some real heat, you can add a whole habanero with the seeds, but I generally stay away from that because my mouth can't handle it. So we're gonna go for a jalapeno today instead. So if you want some real heat, you can always add the seeds. I'm gonna add probably half of it because we're also gonna save the other half for the cornbread. So I'm gonna make a nice dice. Make sure you don't touch your eye, otherwise you're gonna have a fiery eyeball. That's happened before. All right, so we're gonna add that in there. Some nice green chilies. I'm gonna add just a teaspoon of sriracha for now. And I'll add more if I want more heat later. Give that a stir. All right, and there we go. All we gotta do is let it simmer for about half an hour, and we've got chili. So there's about 5 more minutes before the chili is done cooking, and I'm gonna add my corn. So just like the beans, they're packed in salt, so I'm gonna get rid of the liquid here. And the reason why I like to add it the last minute is so that the corn stays nice and fresh tasting. Because if you leave it in there for too long, it'll mellow out with the other flavors and won't taste as good. We'll stir that right in there. Just add a little bit of liquid because I think it's too thick for my liking. But some people like a thick chili, so you can just leave it as is. Good. Awesome. Just need a little bit more sriracha. I like a little bit more heat. But you can really taste the jalapenos, and it goes really well with sriracha because it's a different kind of heat on your tongue. I've tried once with the habanero, and it was a bit too much for me, but I know some of you guys out there can take the heat. I cannot.